Hi guys and girls, in this tutorial we're going to make 8 ball and billiard table. So let's start. Okay, let's start with creating new document. Enter the name of the document. The size of the document is going to be 600 pixels width and 400 pixels height. Press OK. Okay, first thing we are going to do is to make guides layer to help us with our composition. Rename this layer, double click on it and enter the name of the layer. Name it guides. Next thing we're going to do, click and choose rectangle tool. Click on the artboard, enter the size same as the artboard, 600 pixels and 400 pixels. We must be sure we have our smart guides on. As you see, it's turned on for me. Now move this rectangle until it aligns with artboard. Oh, it's good. Next thing, remove outline and color this. Go object, path, split into grid. Enter 3 rows and 3 columns. Click on the preview so you see what we're going to do. Be sure to check add guides. This is what we need. Okay, we can delete now these objects. We don't need them. We need just these guides. Lock the layer and we are going to create background layer now. Click on this button and choose new layer. Enter the name, background, click OK. Move background layer below the guides layer. You see they are locked, so we can't do anything with them. You can turn them off later. Next thing, create another rectangle, same as before, 600 and 400 height. Align it. It's good. Let's choose the color for this background layer. Double click on the fill and slide this between magenta and red. Choose. Okay, this is going to be good. Oh no, I haven't selected object. Okay, choose the color. I like it. Lock this layer and create another layer. Let's call it table. We are going to put table there. Click on the rectangle tool and make it like this. Let's choose the color. This is going to be good for table. Okay, we have layer created. Next thing we're going to make is ball layer. New layer. Let's call it ball. Choose ellipse tool, click on the artboard, and we're going to make a circle, not ellipse. So we must enter same width and height. Enter 250 pixels and 250 pixels for height. Click OK. Align it with this guide, and we're going to align it with center. This is good. It's okay. Let's make it black. Move it here. Make the brightness 10%, not full black. Click OK. Make a ball. Let's create some swatches. Make new layer. Call it swatches. Create rectangle or square. Hold Shift and draw the rectangle. Copy with Alt key and move the object. Repeat step. We are going to need 6 objects. Now let's make this black. Move the slider to the black. And these two, pick the color of the background. Next thing we're going to do is to blend these colors. Select these two objects and go Object, Blend, Make. Repeat that step. Also here, blend and make. Now let's create some circles. Go to Ellipse tool and hold Shift while dragging the mouse. We need 5 of these objects, so copy this with Alt key. Now we need black and white gradient. So click on the gradient and double click this color. Click on the white, so we now have black-white gradient. Select these objects and apply the gradient to them. You can apply, just click on the gradient slider while these objects are selected. First object is going to be linear gradient, so change it to linear. This one is good. This one, let's reverse it. Click on the reverse gradient while it's selected, and it looks nice. For these two objects we are going to pick the colors of the background and the table. So select first one and click on this color in gradient slider, just one click. Use the eyedropper tool, and this is important, hold Shift while clicking on the background. Now repeat that step with this one, click on the color and with eyedropper tool with hold Shift, pick the color. Now we have swatches, they look good. Let's lock this layer and that's okay. Let's create this shadow below the ball. Click on the table layer and create new layer above it. Let's call it shadow. Okay. Now unlock this swatches layer and copy this object. paste it. Click on the shadow layer and paste. Move it here and let's resize that to make it look more realistic. Oh, that's okay for now. Now go to the transparency panel. If you don't see it, window and transparency. Here it is. Turn off or off. Change the blending mode to multiply. Next thing, we're going to change the color of the background. Now we have swatches. Click on the background. First unlock the layer. Use the eyedropper tool and pick the color. This. Now use gradient tool and edit that gradient. Let's make it something like this. Okay, leave that for now. We will change it later. Lock the background layer. Unlock the ball layer and click the ball. Next thing is object and create gradient mesh. You can use these settings for rows and for columns. Maybe let's turn that to 3. Yes, and that's okay. Now you see this blend of colors. We're going to use a white arrow or direct selection tool to select this one, anchor. Now eyedropper. Let's choose you see, if we pick the color of the table, it's too bright. We need to choose one darker color. So let's try find something that looks good. Okay, this is fine. Click on this anchor point. Now it's too bright. Let's pick something like this. Okay. You see, this is like a reflection from the outside, and this is a reflection from the table. Now let's edit some more of them. These two, let's select these two. Very good. What's this? Let's pick some color between this, but it's too bright. Let's darken that. What do you think? I think it's okay for now. We'll see. Let's apply that same color here. Hold shift and pick that. It's some kind of purple. We get that from mixing blue and this magenta. see, we now have reflections. Let's see what's this. Let's choose. Why is this black still? Let's make that. Okay, all mesh is finished. You can adjust these colors to your taste. I think this is good. Let's turn off the guides layer. Let's add some reflections to this ball. We're going to use these three objects. First thing we're going to do is to create a new layer. Let's call it ball reflections. Now let's copy these objects. Click, hold shift and click on this, edit, copy, lock the layer. Now paste it. We must change this black to the full black. Click on the object and in the gradient slider click on this color. Now in the color palette choose RGB. You see black is much darker now because it's now in RGB mode. Repeat that step with this object. Click on this black and from grayscale change to RGB. That's good. Let's see this one. Yes, this one also RGB. So now move this and we're going to, let's copy this object again and replace this color with orange. Yes, orange is good. These objects are going to be reflections of this ball. Now let's place them. Place this here and blue on the table side, and let's add this one just for fun and more colors. Now select all and set blending mode to screen. Next thing, we are going to scale to make ellipse instead of circle. Rotate, hold shift and let's make it 45 degrees. This one here. Let's scale them. These two and this one just a bit. Now set transparent opacity to 20. Well, that's okay. Let's move this a bit. I think it looks okay. Next, we're going to make top reflection. Take this, let's make it, it goes from the top and scale it. this also. Screen blending mode, and it's 20. Okay, I think let's edit gradient a bit. More. Make it look like this. Next thing we're going to do is to add this table. So unlock the layer, table layer, and click on the object. Now we're going to create gradient mesh. So go object, create gradient mesh. Enter 6 rows, 2 columns, and press OK. We have gradient mesh. Now let's pick some colors for this gradient mesh. Use direct selection tool and select the top anchor points, eyedropper tool, and pick and click on here. That's the top. Let's create shadow. This is the bouncing part of the table. I'm not sure how it's called, but we're creating that now. So select the third row of anchor points and pick the color, some darker blue than the table. That will be shadow. I think we can use this, you see. Now let's try something. Select the middle anchor points and let's pick some color between the blue and magenta. More blue than magenta. Looks okay. Next thing, click on the mesh and let's move this, but first let's turn on guides layer. Okay, now when you select these anchor points, so these 3 lines, move them above the guide. And let's move this one to up a bit. Turn off guides. Yes, that looks fine. If you don't like it, you can move it a bit and play with this. Oh, that's good. So that part of the table is done. Let's lock this layer. Next thing we're going to do is to make bold number. Click on the bold layer and create new layer above it. Let's call it bold number. First thing we need is a circle. So with ellipse tool, hold shift and make some circle. And we need a number. So type tool, click and type the 8. Let's make it bold. Size it. Let's create outlines. Go type and create outlines. Now it's object, as you see. We can edit it. change the color of the circle to white, or we can make it not quite white but close to white, something like this. And let's align them to be sure they're good aligned. Now this is important thing. Select circle and number, go to symbols and new symbol. Let's call it ball number symbol. Click OK. You see now it's symbol and it's in the symbols palette. Let's delete that. We don't need it. It's here. So let's create circle. Enter the size same as our ball. And we must align it. Let me show you some cool thing. This is something I learned recently. We're going to make our ball key object, but first we must select both of them, and now hold Alt key and click on the ball. You see how it's changed? It's now made key object. When you go to align, you see now it's changed to align to key object. Next we are going to align them, of course. So horizontal align center and vertical align center, so they're now aligned. Lock the ball layer so you can change this freely. Now use the direct selection tool to select left side of the circle and delete it. We now have half of the ball created. Now let's change it to screen blending mode. You don't see it now. Click on it, go to Effect 3D and Revolve. That's going to create a 3D ball from this shape. Leave this left edge and turn on preview. You see now it's created a reflection. We must go to this part, map art. So we have only one surface here, and we are going to place our symbol we created before with the ball number. So choose symbol and find ball number symbol. You see how it appeared here. Let's move it and place it in some good place. Well, this is not good place, you must rotate it. You see how it's deformed unnaturally. So let's place it here in the middle and press OK. Now use your mouse to rotate the object and let's find some good position. Still deformed. Let's try putting it down here and let's rotate. Let's try again. I think this is okay. If you don't like it, you can find the position you like. I think this is good. I will keep that. So okay, that's all we need. Let's turn off this plastic shading. Make it no shading. You can play with this. And okay, it's okay now. Let's add more reflections on our ball. Lock this layer, ball number, and let's duplicate it. So click on duplicate ball number, unlock that layer, and double click to rename it. Let's call it light reflection. Now let's create a white rectangle. Use the rectangle tool and draw something like this. Make it white. Go to the effect, stylize, and round corners. Enter radius 10 pixels and press OK. Now we must expand it. Object, expand appearance. Next we are going to offset this path, so go object, path, offset path. Make it negative 10 pixels. Leave everything else and press OK. Now let's make this a bit darker. Change the color to gray. Something like this. Okay. Now let's group that. Object, group, and we're going to deform it with warp. So select the group and effect, warp, arc. Let's see what we have. Make it something bend like this is okay. So 20% bend and press OK. Again, object, expand appearance. Next we are going to create symbol of it. So in symbol palette, let's create new symbol. Let's call it ceiling light symbol and delete it. Now we're going to repeat the step like we did with the ball number. We are going to place this symbol in this part of the ball with 3D revolve. So click on this and go to the appearance palette and click on the 3D revolve. Leave preview on. It's going to be in this part of the ball, so we must place this blue part in that position. Something like this, and go to the map art. We're going to clear this 8 symbol and place ceiling light symbol. Now you see how it looks bad. Hold shift and rotate by 90 degrees this symbol, like this, and scale it. Move to the left and place it. Let's scale it a bit, hold shift. Okay. Let's rotate it a bit. So it follows this line of the ball. And press OK. You can also make some corrections if you want. So click OK and we have reflection here, but we must adjust the opacity. Let's make it like 20 or 15. It's okay, but I don't like it very much. Let's try moving it. This may be better. Okay. Let's create some lights on the background. Go click on the background layer and create new layer above it. Let's call it background ceiling lights. Now let's create a rectangle. Choose black color and rectangle tool. Hold shift to make square. And go to effect, stylize, round corners. Enter 20 pixels for radius, preview, it's okay. Click OK. Now let's expand appearance. And let's create gradient mesh. Enter 4 rows and 4 columns. Click OK. Now go to View and Outline. Use Direct Selection tool and select the inner anchor points like this, and go back to preview mode. Change the color of the selected anchor points to white. Next thing, we're going to make warp effect. So effect, warp and arc. Go to preview and make something like this. Click OK. Object, expand appearance. Now let's scale it. Hold shift and a bit more like this. Let's duplicate that, hold Alt and move it. Like this. And one more. That's okay. Let's move that like here. Let's check our guides. Well, it's not. Let's make somewhere between this edge and the ball. And now select them and change this blending mode to screen. This is going to be the brightest, and this is going to be darkest light. So let's change this opacity to 80, this one to 50, and this one to 30%. This can go lower, let's make it 70. That's it for now. We have background lights done. Let's create some bokeh in the background. First thing we're going to do, click on the background lights layer and create new layer above it and call it bokeh. Now unlock swatches layer and copy this one circle and paste it to the bokeh. Now let's edit this gradient a bit, move this color like this, and let's change that to some kind of orange. And make blending mode color dodge. Adjust the opacity. Let's make it 20 is okay. Now let's duplicate that and scale a bit. And let's make this red. Power down opacity and let's edit a bit gradient. Now copy these circles and play with it. I don't want to waste too much of your time to watch how I'm placing that. I will quick do some placements, and you can, if you have time, you can play with your own creation. So now I'm going to do some quick placements of these lights in background. Let's make some smaller ones. Bigger opacity. No, this color isn't good. Let's delete that. And make something like this. More opacity. We have space for more here. Let's see if we can change some colors. Make it. Yeah, here it's okay. Well, this looks decent. Now we have Bokeh in the background. And the last part for this tutorial is to create some texture for this table. So click on the table layer and add new layer. Let's call it table texture. Now let's create a rectangle. Draw a rectangle. Let's apply gradient, black and white, and with gradient tool hold shift and make gradient like this. Now next thing is to go effect, texture and grain. First thing, choose grain type to regular. And let's see intensity. Make it large, somewhere near 50. And make contrast. Let's use 70 and click OK. Now change the blending mode to multiply and opacity to 30. You see there's outline left. Let's click on it and remove here. And that's it, we have texture for our table. This is basically finished illustration, just I want to adjust this part of the table. Let's move this a bit. and maybe this. Let's see how it looks. Or not. Let's see what happened. Nah, this is bad. Let's leave it like this. One thing to remember, you see how these gradient meshes are looking bad in Illustrator. When you go and say for web, for example, you see how they are now smoother, they look better. So don't worry if they look bad in Illustrator. That's just preview mode. So we have our 8-ball finished. I hope you like it and you learn something new. If you have some questions, you can post them in comments, and I'll try to answer if I can. So see you later in next tutorial.